October 16, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Let me just go ahead and hide all these lines. So it looked like it was in a trading range. It had a small little spike, sell off, and then another, I guess, very gradual rally. So this is kind of how I drew the charts today. So it kind of looked like a sell off, zigzag, really gradual move up, another spike up, and then a sell off. The volume was really low today. There was only, I think, 3 setups that I marked, but even then, of the 3, 2 of them were almost trades. And overall, since the volume and volatility were so low, I didn't really see very many trade opportunities. It was definitely a go fishing type of day. Like you could just probably go fishing and you would have missed out. I also want to note that I think because we've had a number of days like these where the volume has been really low. Well, yesterday wasn't, but the volume has been really low, and I think it's because the elections are coming up, so the market has just been very conservative and hunkering down. So I imagine probably after November 4th, things might pick up again, but from now until then, it's very likely that we could see some more trading like this, especially when there's no economic data that came out today to really move the markets. Perhaps if like PMI or CPI numbers come out, you might get a little bit more price action. Also, more towards the end of the month, you might get some more price action then. So I'm going to go into my trades. Actually, I didn't take any trades. I missed a trade. I'm going to go into the setups right now. As you can see, the pre-market is just very choppy. Look at this. There's just like a lot of stems and a lot of uh, small bodies. So it's nothing really worth trading right here. The market opens, and I think I found this green down channel, but there's no real setups here. Nothing that I particularly like or felt was safe. You can find some second entries, but it's so congested with candles side by side with no clear bias. I mean, you can see that it looks like it's going bearish right here, but it's like bearish with a consolidation, another bearish area, another consolidation. So it's just very slow step downwards. I did see a triple test here. Triple test and a potential almost trade because, well, it is an almost trade, but also a potential second entry long. It's new high here. It's first entry long, pullback, second entry long. I considered it an almost trade because it's a break of this green down channel, test the low, so the downtrend may have played out. There is a second entry long here, but it doesn't look very convincing. This is a terrible signal bar to go long on. The only thing you have going for you is the triple test, and potentially at the low of this range. Low of the range also corresponds to the low of the pre-market. When I see a low of the pre-market created by just one impulse spike like this, I don't really tend to trust it all that much. Granted, you have 2 more confirmations here, but something like this, I wanted a higher low to feel safer. You do get a higher low here, but as you can see, the EMA has been holding prices down. So this higher low below the EMA isn't something that gives me a lot of confidence. You could also see it as a visual first entry long pullback, second entry long. Seeing this in real time, I'm not necessarily jumping to get on this trade because you wait for the next candle and it closes doji. So this is very confusing. So definitely, just sit on your hands, just wait for better setups, especially when it's so early in the day. So then prices break out of this trading range, moves up on this green up channel, kind of sells off. You do have a, let me just move this guy a little bit. Second entry long here, but it's a little far from the EMA, and I would have felt more comfortable if, I didn't find this yellow up channel first, so I would have felt more comfortable if I had another confirmation down here to establish this yellow up channel, say at least there's another key entry point. Otherwise, in space, in isolation, this whole setup is just floating there by itself. So after you see the second entry long, then you go like, well, maybe I'll find a higher low. You don't get a higher low till way up here, and by then the setup's too far. So also, I was thinking there's maybe one big leg. I didn't establish this leg here for this measured move yet until later. But I was thinking maybe there is a leg here looking for a correction. It breaks out of this orange up channel. Technically, you have a second entry long here, so new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I don't like that this is inside bar, so I just skipped it altogether. And you're looking for a second entry long, then you look for a higher low confirmation for another push up, but you never get that. So technically, you don't get a higher low, but you have a second entry long failure right around here. By the time this failure occurs, you don't know if you're in a trading range, so you skip it again. Pushes down, and this is actually sets up for where I tried to take a trade, but I missed it. On the larger context, you have this push up, push down, and up until then, you think, or I think, I'm in a trading range of some kind. So this is probably a failed breakout in a bigger context. Push down makes two attempts up. Two attempts up. First leg of this red channel breaks, tests the new high. So I'm thinking uptrend may have played out. Pulls back, makes a second attempt, makes a higher high. So it's one attempt up, makes the high. Push back, makes a second attempt, pushes down. So I'm seeing first entry short, second entry short, technically a third entry short, but I saw it as first entry short, pull back, a bigger second entry short on the visual, and it pushes up. Now it pushes here. There's also a lower high right here. So the lower high is confirming this break of this green, made two attempts up. I'm thinking another big leg like this is coming up. So I made one attempt up, pull back, second attempt up. This is like a lower high area. I like that it moved one tick up, then flushed down. Unfortunately, it didn't engulf this entire candle, so I didn't have my order ready right here like I usually like to. So what happened was it opens here, and it spends a great deal of time right here. Then it flushes down. And so when it finally breaks below this, I drop in my order at the lows of this double bar, this double low. I enter right here, and by that time, the price was here. It never comes back to fill me, pushes down and closes. By the time it pushes down and closes, this entire move has made my scalp. So I can't wait for the next candle, hoping that it'll come back and get me and push down, especially on the setup here that I feel is worth taking, but it's not worth waiting for the second candle, especially when the scalp has already been made. So I canceled my order, and it looks like even if I left it here, this candle would not have picked me up. And if I waited longer, this candle might have picked me up, but then this one here would have stopped me out. So it was a missed trade, unfortunately. Then prices move up on this yellow up channel. You have a new high, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here because it pulls back. This is where the second entry long is confirmed and pushes up, but there's no trade here, no setup. Hits the high, and I thought I saw a second entry long here. So what I actually saw, let me just zoom out. This was actually a little bit higher here. So at the time I saw this as a breakout, so it's like a new high, first entry long pullback. You technically have a second entry long here, but I didn't know if I had a breakout here, and I have this green down channel. I wasn't sure if this is a clean enough breakout or if this green down channel is going to go and test the lows, or if it's going to bounce off of here. This is what you see in real time. A little ambiguous. It pushes up. I was looking for a higher low. You technically got a first entry long, second entry long, higher low here, but it's a bearish bar. I didn't really like it. And then by the time the resolution of that setup occurs, this is just too late. This candle is too big. So it pushes up, keeps going. And then here creates a second entry long. So it's a orange up channel I thought fit pretty well. It's a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. The second entry long, I think, is an almost trade. It's a break of this orange up channel. It's looking to test the high after this breakout. The possible bounce off the EMA, it's close. It technically didn't touch. And the trigger bar, I like that it engulfed the signal bar because the signal bar isn't a good signal bar, it's bearish. So you do have a confirmed second entry long. The problem with this is it's too close to the localized high and the high of day. So even though I'm looking for a 1 point scalp, it's clearly hitting some resistance. I don't like the fact that I'm going to be pressing into and past this localized high because I'd probably be entering right here, let's say 74.50. So I need to get out at 75.50. 75.50 is right here. I'd be pressing into the high. Even if I moved it back one tick to 74.25, that's one tick below the high of day. I just didn't like that setup. It doesn't feel worth it for this setup because the setup itself isn't the cleanest. I'm already pressing toward the high. But it turns out this would have worked. And then I also saw, well, I thought I saw kind of like a hunch trade, but I didn't really mark it as a hunch trade because it's a break of this orange up channel. First entry long pullback. Second entry long, I like that it moved one tick below and fleshed up, closed strong. I don't like that this signal bar is so bearish. So had this actually touched the EMA and fleshed up higher, I think I might have considered it. But as you can see from here, 58.78, I need 58.79. It's debatable whether I would have gotten out with my 1 point scalp. And if I didn't, this candle would have stopped me out for sure. So I saw it. I'm glad I didn't, even consider it a hunch. I just said, oh, that's pretty interesting. I wonder how it's going to play out. and it looked like it would not have worked. So then prices continue moving up. Oh, by then I saw like one leg up, pull back, a second measure move. It looked like in real time it was respecting this potentially for reversal, but then it just keeps going up higher. So it keeps going up higher on this magenta up channel, has a breakout, potentially moving back into the range, but then not range, but channel, touches, bounces, and makes another high. So here I don't see any good trade to go long because it just feels a little dicey. Also, I had this drag down to here at that point because it just looked like it fit a little bit better. And then I saw a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. Technically, I have a second entry long here, but I was looking for two legs. The leg never completes, so it just kind of gets noisy here. And even then, this is the last hour of trading from here to here. There's not very many candles. And even then, this is the last 10 minutes. So I actually kind of draw it out just to give a visual of this nonsense. So this is the last hour here. And of that hour, this is the last 10 minutes right here. So this is 40 minutes of trading, 40 minutes of waiting around, pretty much going sideways. It's not the cleanest anything because you do have a high here, maybe a triple test. You could argue maybe there's a trade right here, but seeing as the whole day looking to the left has been really slow, I wasn't that eager to try to force a trade with at 12:18 Pacific Standard when there's only about, let's see, 42 minutes left. And of it, the last 30 minutes, I usually don't try to leave it alone, especially the last 10 minutes. So there's nothing really nice here. You could argue there's a trade here. It's a small risk. It's only like 5 ticks, but the signal bar isn't very good. Again, it's already creeping into the last 30 minutes. It had to have been a better signal bar. You know, as I said, just going looking to the left, it wasn't even an exciting day, so there's no reason to try to press for a trade here. So I pretty much left it alone and resigned myself to realize that there's no clean, well, no good trades in my opinion to take today. So it ends up being a no trade day. So hopefully that was helpful.